Hello. Today was supposed to be the ACTs. Turns out, the whole ACT test was not working at all. So we decided to reschedule. So they just sent us home. I was gonna post this early. I would not post. I was gonna record this earlier, but I got distracted. And well, okay, my cat had another litter of kittens. I might have already told you about this. Um, if I did, okay, well, y'all know. Um, like one of the kittens is on my bed, so if you hear something get knocked over, it's my art stuff on my bed that he's trying to knock off my bed. So, anyways, let's get to it. This is Tina Bar by Atia Blacktron. Chapter 18. What reflection do you see? Summary. Izuku finally looks at the mirror. Izuku finally looks at himself in the mirror. Midoriya didn't talk for the rest of the day. He wasn't completely absent like before, but there was several times they could see that Midoriya was not there. Each time that happened, Toga was visibly upset and played with her knife. He was a silent figure in the bar, as silent as he was. The only thing the League members could do was take in the boy's appearance for clues. Dark circles. There was bruising around one of his eyes, a cut on his lip that looked like it was treated earlier, fresh bruises on his arm, and scars. So many scars. None of them had seen those scars the last time he was there. Each of them remembered the long sleeve hoodie that he hid, that he had hid them from their sight. Those are old scars, Magne said to Compress and Twice as they sat in a booth. Indeed they are. Twice leaned back into his seat. We all have scars here. He's not special. And then suddenly leaned forward with a raised eyebrow. Where did he get them? Last time he was here, he mentioned being in worse situations. Also, do you recall how he said that that others had used quirks on him? Compress explained. Shit, he did say that. Then that mean then that means other kids did this to him. Manly looked over at the boy sitting at the bar. But there are so many. Yes, it seems life has not been kind to the young hero. T- Twice tapped the table before getting out of his seat. Well, that seems more like an understatement. Um, then he went. Then he went and sat next to Midoriya at the bar. Magnum Compress looked at the two before Sako spoke. Do you know he had a nightmare earlier? Yes. Magnate nodded. Yeah, I woke up and saw you sitting on the couch with them. And then going to the bar counter, you helped him with the cut on his lip, right? Yes, just some cleaning and aesthetic cream? Antiseptic cream? Um, sh- should do the trick to take care of it. It's odd to see such an injury on his face. Where do you think he got it? Must have been at the hero school of his. It must have been at that hero school of his. Although I'm confused on how he came here with it unhealed. If I heard correctly, the youthful heroine should be at the school. Sako said with a thoughtful look on his face. Magane frowned. He has other injuries that have not healed. Everyone can tell. Do you think he will reveal the answers to the questions that we all have? I don't know. Toga did say that he tell us when he wanted to. It's a little funny how protective she is of him. Sako laughed, resting his elbow on the table and his chin in the palm of his hand. My dear, Toga also wishes to stab him. Toga wants to stab everyone, Compress. It's not a big deal. Also, the kid managed to avoid her knives so far. Correct. He seems he seems almost as talented as you are. Um, you are at as you are. Yeah. Um, correct. He seems almost as talented as you are at avoiding getting cut by Toga's blades. Magne smiled. It's nice to have someone else here who who was good at it. Who was good at that. Toga has gotten pretty close at getting you guys most almost making me worried, she said shyly. Slyly. Not shyly. Slyly. Sacco mocked, surprised, and brought his hand to his chest. Worried? Whatever shall I do? Get stabbed, probably, she replied. It was nice it was nice to just sit there at the bar. Izuku was able to enjoy at least a cup of tea Kirigiri had given him, although he had drank it slowly as to not aggravate the cut on his lip. He thought about how Compress was so easily cleaned it up for him. Izuku knew he should have been worried about having someone else who could easily kill him hold his face. But just like with Toga, he didn't feel worried. Um, the way that they had touched his face was different from the usual physical contact he had. After dealing with harsh hits and burning hands, gentle ones that careful not were careful were very much welcome. The way they looked at him was different too. Toga looked excited when she w- Toga looked excited when he said her name and she smiled at him. Compress looked amused and Compress looked amused, but generally genuine in his action of cleaning these cleaning the cut, even making him less tense with a joke he made in good humor. It has felt like the man wasn't making fun of him. It, it didn't. It hadn't felt like the man was making fun of him, and Izuku was sure that the warmth that he felt earlier that he made that he made uh and Izuku was sure that the warmth that he felt earlier that made him see the misty place must have been Dobby. From what the flame user had told him. So he sat quietly at the bar. Sometimes he could feel himself slipping slightly in awareness, but a noise from the others brought him back. Um, the sound the sound of Twice taking a seat beside him reminded him where he was. He looked sideways at the man. He wore a black and gray suit over his whole body. Izuku had noticed how expressive Twice was, even with the mask on. He also noticed how Twice tended to speak in two voices, but no one seemed bothered, and neither was Izuku. Yes, the other voice tended to be more violent and rude, but it wasn't anything Izuku wasn't used to hearing. Overall, he seemed alright. You know, you should take care of the burn on your shoulder. We don't have to. We don't want to. Oh my god. We don't want to deal with a crying kid. Um, Izuku realized that Twice was looking at him now. He could tell the man's eyebrow was raised, as if he was scowling at him. When Izuku didn't say anything, Twice continued. It doesn't matter if it's minor; it could get infected. Dumbass kid shouldn't have said anything. Twice wasn't wrong. Izuku had been avoiding doing anything for that burn. It was such a familiar feeling that he didn't he didn't feel completely concerned. But here he was being told by someone in the league to go take care of it. It was odd. Izuku was wondering if they just didn't want to have to deal with the injured kid, or if they cared. They did technically kidnap him after all. Who's to say that it wasn't like last time when Shigaraki wanted information. But if they did, it was odd that they wasn't asking any questions yet. Either way, he was grateful for someone telling him to go take care of himself. He grabbed a few items from the bar and gently got off the bar stool, careful not to strain himself. Before um before going to the bathroom, he made sure to say a small thank you twice. He turned around and missed the surprise. He missed a He turned around and missed the surprised look that came across the man's face. In the bathroom, he got to work. He was happy to note that Dobby had gotten the burn cream yeah, is he was happy to note that Dobby had gotten the burn cream he usually got. It was it, it had some special properties that speed up the healing and could be placed on the burn without risk, contrary of companies trying to include quirk properties into their product. After cleaning and putting on the cream, he got some bandage to place around the burn. Used some medicine tape to keep it in place. He gave the he gave the other small burns. He gave the other small burns he had the same treatment. Once he was done, he looked in the mirror to make sure everything was in place. He froze at the reflection he saw. Staring back, staring back at him was a boy with curly green hair and a tired face. He saw the bruise around his eye, and the cut on his lip. He wondered if it would scar. Then he looked at his arm and chest, littered in different types of scars, ones that he remembered he had gotten from others he gotten, and the others just just seem seems to just appear. Most notable, most notable was his shoulder, how the bandage covered it. Now, now with the bandage covering it, he knew that if he took it off, there would be faint handprint, a faint hand print, a faint print of a hand. He also saw bruises on his arm and on his side. It seems that Recover Girl was unable to heal everything completely, but it wasn't his fault. He hadn't slept for days, and neither did have much energy anyways. It would take a while for the bruising, the bruises to disappear. So, normal routine then. How funny, uh, funny how he was still followed that routine after entering UA. Funny how he followed it while in the presence of the people who were the opposite of heroes. But here he was in their bathroom, exposed, all the pain of his life thrown at him in an empty bathroom. For a minute or two, for a minute or two, Izuku just stared at himself in the mirror. He didn't feel like crying. Instead, he felt resigned to the fate that he looked like that. That it was what most it that it was likely more scars would join the others. He caught when his eye caught some when his eye caught the blue resting on his chest again. He finally put his shirt back on. He had made sure he had made sure to bring the necklace out from underneath it like he did the previous night. He wasn't he wasn't near Inko, so there wouldn't be an issue with it being out. In in an office at UA, Nezu and Shota stared at each other. Neither of them showed any sign that they would avert their gaze. Oh, wait, I think I skipped some parts. In a office at UA, Nezu and Shota stared at each other. Neither of them showed any sign that they would avert their avert their gaze. I want them punished, Shota said, breaking the silence. Bakugo and Yagi, I presume? Yes. Um, glad. Yes. Nezu clapped his paws together. I agree. I'm glad to see that we're on the same page then. Yes, indeed. Now you have to contact. Now you have to get in contact with Ma- Midoriya-kun's mother. He is entitled to have. He is entitled to the option to press charges considering the circumstances. At this, when at this is when Shota looked away and brought a hand to his forehead. No, I haven't. All the calls went to voicemail. I'm surprised that though she hasn't called yet. What about Midoriya-kun himself? Nezu asked. I've heard from the other students. He had not been responding to their messages. Do you think it's possible that he simply does not want to talk to anyone at the moment? Nezu leaned back in his seat. There is a possibility, but it is concerning how no one has managed to contact him or his mother. Hopefully it will show up at the gathering that all your students have planned before leaving for training camp. Hopefully. It's unlike Midoriya to go miss it's unlike and it is unlike that Midoriya Kun would miss going to training camp. He has he has the makings of a great hero. Shota knew that Ne- Shota knew that Nezu was in of an odd sort of way of trying to reassure him, but that, that but that didn't make the unease he was feeling go away. He would give Midoriya time to reach out to him, or and for his mother to call back, but there was a small part of him that he didn't believe that would happen. Now, Nezu said, with a certain glint in his eye that brought Shota out of his thought. Let's discuss those punishments, shall we? At at the end of the meeting, Bakugo Katsuki was no longer considered a student of UA, and would be unable to join the hero course at any of the other schools for a year. As part of his punishment, he was put into mandatory anger management therapy and had the incident on his record. His parents did had his parents had nothing substantial to excuse their son's action. Um, they had said that they would make sure that they would make full use of the therapy. All Might was fired, unfortunately because of the Hero Commission. Nezu was unable to maintain the status, so after a few hours, he instead downgraded All Might's position to an assistant rather than a teacher. All Might was also not allowed to be with students without supervision. When Izuku sat back down in his seat next to Twice, Kirigiri placed a glass of water and a bottle of pain meds in front of the boy. Oh, someone's worried, um, Twice said in a teasing voice, referencing, referring to Kirigiri. The warp, vil- the, warp, the warp villain simply ignored the comment and sent almost an expectant look at Izuku until the boy took the medicine. After things went back to normal, well, as normal as they were with Izuku being quiet and villains doing whatever they do. When it got late, Izuku went to the booth and laid down on the seat, still not saying a word. It was vastly different compared to the last time he was there in the bar. At that time, he did not hesitate to join their conversation and talk. Now he seemed a silent copy, a bit more bruised and banged up. After a while, Toga joined Izuku in the booth, laying down in the seat across from him. She had her she had her head turned to look at him from underneath the table, while he was simply staring at the ceiling, hands clasped across his chest. No one went near them for the rest of the night. You know, Izuku-kun, you should probably take a shower. I bet you stink. Toga watched as Izuku slowly turned his head and looked at her. I don't I don't have a change of clothes, Toga. Mm, Toga shrugged. I can get you I can get you clothes. I have a bag here with clothes, some extra sweatpants, and I can steal one of Shigaraki's hoodies for you. Kirigiri buys him a bunch, so he won't miss one. Toga thought it was funny how she saw the dumbfounded look on Izuku's face. And before you talk about underwear, I'm gonna steal um, some from the store with Kirigiri's help. When she when she saw Izuku smile is when she saw Izuku smile is when Toga really smiled, and she had kept back from squealing when he said okay. No one really knew what um no one really knew what to say when they saw Toga jump up from the booth and proceeded no, to gently drag Midoriya to the bathroom. Um, sorry, I just like kind of skipped ahead on my. I actually saw like a part. Sorry, I got off track. No one really knew what to say when they saw Toga jump up from the booth and proceed to gently drag Midoriya to the bathroom, or when she saw a pair, or when she threw a pair of pants, a hoodie, and a towel at the boy before pushing him into the bathroom. They practically choked when Toga answered Kiri Kirigiri's question about why she wished to go to the store. Hmm, hold on. To go get Izuku-kun some underwear. The warp villain seemed to freeze at the moment before sighing and creating a warp for Toga. A few moments later, she came back holding several different packages and ran towards the bathroom. She knocked, and when she knocked, the door slightly opened. She handed a package to Midoriya. Um, and they could and they could hear a somewhat flustered "thank you." Um, they watched amused as Midoriya barely had the chance to breathe when hold on. They watched they watched amused as Midoriya barely had a chance to breathe when he walked out of the bathroom after taking a shower. His hair was still wet as Toga pulled him towards the couch. Shigaraki was also on the couch when he saw Midoriya, and he simply said, "Nice hoodie." Um, at which At which Dobby and the press laughed. Midoriya looked a little better than before, and as he used the towel to dry his hair, everyone's eyes lingered on the necklace was held that was held a certain blue marble resting against the hoodie. Ah, well, would you look at that? Magna said to the musician, who looked rather pleased at the new development. Bruh, you know, I really like it when the hero commission actually absolutely gets destroyed and like rebuild. I found a fic, and I really like it. Um, I gotta I gotta ask permission to podfic it, but it's gonna be like close-ish to the end of this one. When I ask him, maybe I might ask him like after this. Anyways, I really like this one, but I really think All Might should have been fired. I don't care if he's the number one hero. He's retired number one hero. He should have been fired. One, he put um a student in danger. Two, he disregarded a rule that you know, the principal put in place of saying, hey, don't put these two students together. One student is really violent to the other one. If you put them together, we're gonna have problems with you. Um, I, hmm, All Might himself just angers me, and it I didn't like him. I don't, I don't like him in the regular like the I can't think of what it's called. It's not the fandom. It's the originals. Ah! The original one. I don't I don't like him at all. I didn't. Mm. Yeah, I heard what he really did, and I was like, dude, I, if I, I can't explain it honestly. I'm really glad in the last chapter that Aizawa just punched him, cause I would have done worse. I would have gave him to the villain himself. Well, awful one. Anyways, um, I hope y'all enjoyed this fic, and I really like the fact they included the neck, the little marble necklace, because it was something that Tom Price gave him the first time he was there. So I'm like, it was something like to fidget with, so he has something around his neck and he's fidgeting with it. So honestly, I really kind of want a marble necklace just so I can fidget with it. I really need to get one so I can have it on my ACTs because I need to see something to fiddle with. Anyways, I hope y'all have a good day, and I really hope y'all enjoy this. Eat, sleep, drink. Uh, it is getting a little more warmer outside, so stay cool. Don't get overheated. Don't overdo it if y'all like to run and stuff. But hope y'all enjoyed listen. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to this, and I can't wait to read the next chapter.